the kids a chance to get to do things in groups, and some things that are more difficult to do at home. We usually focus on a topic for a semester and dive real deep into various things. This past year, the younger kids were doing, they learned about the post office, and we took a tour. We went to the post office and took a tour. That was fascinating. And then they've been learning about the national parks. Next semester, they're going to be learning about the Olympics because it's an Olympic year. So the older kids have been doing engineering. They've been doing engineering design process and being an inventor. So we've been getting into that. So let's see. So we spend our days, we cram a lot into the day. We go for a nature walk in the morning. We have our topic of study. We get a little bit of work cycle, free choice time for the kids. We go to the library. We have developed our own specials program. So we have our own specials teachers that do art, music, and PE with all of the kids. And so we have lots that we pack in to the day, and so let's see. Do you guys? That's roughly our program. Some things that are unique to our program as opposed to other programs is that not a lot of homeschool programs are actually located on the campus of the school that they're associated with, and so that's unique to us, which affords us some really great benefits, like the school library. Most homeschool programs, the kids don't get to go to the library because most programs rent out a space to have their 1 day a week program. A lot of times it's a church, and so there isn't a library. A lot of other programs also don't have access to a playground or to outdoor space, which is one of the reasons that we have that as one of our focuses is taking nature walks and being outside whenever it's appropriate to what we've got going on, and um, and then of course the Montessori approach and the hands-on. By and large, most homeschool programs are set up a little bit to look a little bit more traditional in there and the way that they run. And so uh, ours being a Montessori program. In fact, I'm pretty sure we're the only Montessori homeschool option in the Denver metro area for homeschools. So especially a public option that's free to the parents. So for parents, that's a big draw is that it is a public program, so that they pay a registration fee at the beginning of the year, just like our full-time students. But then attendance is free all the way, for the rest of the year, and um, and for us, that's advantageous because even though the kids only come 1 or 2 days a week, we get paid for a half FTE. So every one of our students counts as half of a full-time student. Um, and if they're only coming 1 day a week, then that's a pretty nice profit boost for the school at large. And so um, I think that's all I can think as far as the things that might be really important to you guys. Do you have any questions?
I have a couple, but if go ahead, Frank. Do you have one?
Yeah. Um, so a couple questions that I have are, aside from the reasons that you already explained, what
Yeah.
are some things that separate Montessori Peaks Academy homeschool from other homeschools that you haven't already mentioned?
Hmm. Well, let's see. We've been developing a parent curriculum lending library. Um, And so with materials that we've put in there, and also materials that parents have donated as they get done with their curriculums. So we have that avenue of support for parents as well. Um, we we are actually pretty flexible on our attendance policy, which for homeschool programs that do that give grades that are considered academic programs, they have to be, very strict about attendance, just like all schools are. However, because we don't give grades, once the October count happens, it's not really an issue for parents to, take a vacation. We had a family last year that was gone for half of second semester because they went to Costa Rica for a couple of months. So, uh, but when they don't lose their spot. So, when they get back, their kids can jump right back in. Of course, and we explained to the parents that, you know, the more often the kids are there, the more they're going to get out of the program. But, at the same time, they don't have to stress about, having one of the benefits of homeschooling is the flexibility. And so, they don't have that impeded on necessarily when they come to us. What else?
And Melissa, I was just going
Mhm.
to tell you, my
Yeah,
neighbor just removed her 2 boys from Jeffco and is homeschooling them now and was looking for supplemental programs. So I'll be sending you an email and introducing you to her. So
wonderful. Great. Thank you.
no problem.
I think that's the other thing, and I don't, Melissa, I don't know if this happens, you maybe you know better than this. I do think we don't have, we do have students sometimes that transfer to the main building or vice versa to homeschool.
Yes.
I don't know if the other homeschool programs, because they're offsite, if they would have that as much, right? Because they're not even at the,
Right. Yeah, I don't think that happens nearly as often with other homeschool programs. Um, their budgets tend to be independent.
Right.
And so, and ours is intertwined, completely integrated into the whole of the school, which probably has its pros and cons, but by and large, it tends to be, as far as I can tell, it's a benefit.
I think it's a benefit because it allows some fluidity. Because families' needs change or a child's needs change, and I think
Mhm.
it's nice to have that option there. And they're aware of both schools, right? Like there's their
Mhm.
between the buildings.
Yes, absolutely. And I do sometimes parents ask about that, and I do make sure to mention that, as a homeschool student, they're considered a student of the school, just a part-time student instead of a full-time student. And so moving into full-time at MPA is much easier, a transition from homeschool to full-time. But we definitely have had students that started out full-time and it wasn't a great fit for the family, and so they've moved to homeschool. So then we haven't lost the student entirely. So, yeah.
Great. The other question I have, and I don't know if you actually have information on it, but um, where do most of the families that are enrolled in the homeschool program come from? Are they in the Littleton area? Are they coming from all over? Do we have any data that would show where they're coming from exactly?
There's some data. By and large, a lot of them are close by. I would say they're pretty near, but we also draw families from Evergreen. We have a few from Evergreen, and we certainly have a few that drive from farther away because um, we're the only one who offers this particular um, type of program. So,
Great, thank you. I don't have any more questions.
okay.
Maybe depending on your schedule, if I could sit down and just chat with you a little bit more one-on-one, not during the meeting.
Yeah,
That'd be wonderful.
absolutely, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
You're welcome.
Melissa, I was wondering how many kids are enrolled and like, is there a maximum or
Mhm.
like how does that setup work?
Well, right now we have 2 classrooms and we have 39 students enrolled, um, which is up from last year. We had 35 last year. The most students we've ever had was, I think, 57,
Oh, wow.
around 57. That was pre-COVID. COVID hit us as badly as it hit everyone else. We got down to, I think, 21 students
Okay.
that year afterwards. So we've been slowly rebuilding. Um, I believe we're on track to hit probably 40, 46 to 50 students next year. But we'll see. We'll see after open enrollment closes and we get a few numbers in. Um,
And is there a maximum on that or not?
yes, yeah. We right now I think we can take if every spot on every day was full, we could have 90 students.
Oh, wow. Cool. And
So
then,
yeah, we've got a bit of room to grow. So
Justin, you might talk more about this in the update, but am I right thinking that there might be like a short overview for homeschool program for the homeschool program? Did I make that up? Your face makes me think I made that up.
I mean, the marketing committee has been heavily focused on promoting the homeschool
Okay.
program. That
Mhm.
is, I think, where we have the most vacancy that is
Yeah.
the most immediately available. But Melissa's done most of the lift on that with the digital pieces, social media, and we are putting some of our marketing budget toward that. Melissa, I don't know, has that kicked yet, or is that going to go off after the holiday?
We have attempted, however, the bank is yeah, I'm supposing Jen might speak to that a little bit more, but we've had some difficulties with the bank declining the the
Yeah,
yeah
they
the
they
charges.
basically the charge comes in as Facebook, and the first charge came back as fraud, and I had to call the bank and tell them it wasn't fraud, and so we tried it again, and I think I had three more today. So tomorrow I'll have to go to the bank. I have to present my credit limit, my purchase, like all. I have to go through this whole thing, and then they should be able to release whatever flag is on to
Okay.
get it going. So it's just it'll be on. She's ready. I just need the bank to clear it.
Cool. Well, my other thought, which you
Good
guys
luck, Jen.
Yeah.
like if there's an overview or whatnot and it could go out, I always hesitate because I'm like, Robin, I wonder if maybe it has gone out and I've missed it, but it could go out in the newsletter and it could say, hey, if anyone has any friends at homeschool, here's some information.
Mhm.
Because the best advocates are probably the people who know school, but
Yeah, by and large, word of mouth tends to be the best advertising for
yeah.
homeschool. But in our tours, we've been getting more families who say they've found us via online search. Um, Now that we're on the marquee, I did have a family call and say, "Have you guys, are you new? Because I just saw the sign." I was like, "No, we've been here a long time."
That's awesome.
Um,
I think
but
And
uh, but
Melissa,
yeah, a lot of people don't know we're here. So
I think Adam was also working on making sure that when you do a map search for homeschool, that our north building would actually appear under that search as a flag, so that whether you're searching middle schools or homeschool will appear under those searches and be connected to that too. So that's another great way, especially if they're looking for something in the region or in the neighborhood.
mhm.
And Melissa, I think Christina has a great idea. If you want to send me a blurb to put in, like
Mhm.
if you want us to keep in our, you have your own newsletter, I know, but like we can certainly put one in if you want to send me some.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have like 5 friends right away that I could send it to. I guess I know a lot of homeschoolers.
But yeah, I mean, there's a fair point. When I first started working in the homeschool, my kids went to the main building, and um, they were at MPA for years before I even knew we had a homeschool program. So um, I think a lot of people, even in our own community, don't totally realize we're there. So
And if we kind of have it running in the newsletter all the time, then they can, if somebody asks them, they can quickly just shoot the newsletter over or something, and that person can read the blurb and connect with you. So I think that's a good way to spread by word of mouth further.
mhm.
Yeah, it's free. Awesome. Well, thank you. Well, I feel like knowing what I know about Montessori education, knowing what I know about homeschool, which feels like small, they seem so aligned because there's so much about like what Montessori is, which feels kind of like what you get also, in the home environment where it's like mixed age groups and like a lot of hands-on learning and a little bit more at like kids' paces. So
Mhm.
I think it sounds like a great program and a great thing. So thanks for your work.
Absolutely. I give tours every Tuesday at 10 a.m. So if any of you would like to come and um, see everything, you're more than welcome to join us. So,
Thank you. Awesome. Well, have a great holiday.
all right. Thanks, you guys too.
Thanks, Melissa.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay. Thanks everyone for your flexibility with the schedule. Robin, thanks for having Melissa come. Super helpful to know all the things that are going on at our school. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna read the mission statement just to give you guys, I think I've mentioned this before, but to let you into my brain. I am trying to always add in a little bit of like the strategic plan, because we haven't had like one meeting where we went through all the strategic plan. We'll talk about that more to see if we could do a strategic meeting in the new year, but I've been trying to like sprinkle in a little bit of the strategic plan. And I know not everyone was able to make the training this summer. So I've been trying to sprinkle in a little bit of like training and information about what a board does, because that's been like wildly helpful for me. So I'm just gonna I'll read, well, actually maybe I should probably have you all read some of it for me, but in true adult learning style. So maybe I'll share my screen and then we'll kind of pass it around. You all have this, but that way it's all just up here. Okay, you're seeing not a work document of mine, right? But the mission and vision. So, okay, so what we'll do is we'll read the mission and vision, which we read every time. We'll read this core strategic objective, and then I'll talk to this a little bit. So would anyone volunteer to read the mission and vision, and then someone else could read the map of the future and the core strategic initiative?
I can do mission and vision. It is the mission of Montessori Peaks Academy to achieve high standards of individual excellence by guiding the whole student through an exceptional learning experience based on the educational philosophy of Maria Montessori. Montessori philosophy and methodology is based on the education of the whole child. This not only includes cognitive and academic development, it also concentrates on the emotional, physical, and social development of the child. The children become self-learners and structure their own curriculum, working with and absorbing information at the time they are ready. The children cultivate their own natural desire to learn. Montessori Peaks Academy is an educational journey that prepares each child to uniquely contribute to our shared community.
Awesome. Do you want to volunteer someone, Daisy?
Oh, that's just vicious.
But Frank did have some dental work today, so I will opt Frank out.
I'll opt Frank out. That's very, very cool. Sarah.
I knew you were gonna volunteer me to do this.
Sorry,
It's okay. The MPA Map for the Future, organized with 6 core strategic initiatives in mind, Montessori Peaks Academy seeks to offer an unparalleled Montessori learning experience, offering excellent Montessori education to its students, where connections are nurtured within the community, employees continue to be supported and retained, facilities are safe and conducive to Montessori education, and the school has a foundation by which to thrive into the future. Do you want me to do the core strategic initiative too?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. The goal is to ensure MPA offers an excellent Montessori educational experience aligned with district and state standards. The first goal is strengthen alignment and fidelity of Montessori philosophy, values, and practices across the school. Goal 2, refine and align curriculum at all levels to support smooth transitions and strong academic and social emotional development. Goal 3 is continue developing a comprehensive Montessori middle school program that prepares students for high school and beyond.
Awesome. Thanks.
Mhm.
And a lot of these things, like, and I'll speak to this down here, so the curriculum isn't in the board's, purview, but it's good for us to know, like, what's the board, or what's the ultimate goals of the school, in the strategic initiative. And this quote I pulled from Maria Montessori up here: preventing conflicts is the work of politics, establishing peace is the work of education. And I just think, it's by Maria Montessori. So, of course, it speaks to kind of the Montessori style, but I think it also connects down to the mission, the vision, and even this strategic initiative that, like, once you have to bring someone in to resolve conflict, it's like it's gone far. I don't want to say it's gone too far, because hopefully that conflict can always be resolved. But once you have to bring in like a conflict negotiator, something's wrong. And the best case scenario is almost that it never gets there, and I don't know if you all have ever heard this before, but like the best leaders are almost the ones where you don't even notice what they're doing. And things like run almost like a good movie, that like you don't even notice the storyline or the plot. And I think like this quote here is like the best peacemakers are the ones that like it's ingrained in who they are to try to bring like kindness and care for others into the world. And I think that's what we're creating at Montessori Peaks Academy and with the Montessori education, that our kids are able to be those self-starters and there's those self-learners, and like honestly be like anchored in self in a way that's I think different than a lot of places. And so I think it's neat to think about all these strategic objectives and try to move it out of this like wordy goal, but to think about like the kids that we get to impact, one because they're our kids or they're our kids are friends with with each other, but two, also as a board we're able to have this impact on these children. And like we've talked about, these children are the future, and one kid being transformed truly could change the world. Um so anyways, yeah, I'll pause there. Any thoughts about that? Or Robin, I know you wrote the strategic plan. Anything that you would add in about this section?
No, for me, it's more about obviously always grounding yourself in the mission vision, but those core strategic initiatives, making sure that every decision we make, not that we have to like memorize them all, but like when we make the decisions, we're always going back to the strategic initiative it aligns with, and making sure we're making those decisions to the best of our ability to align with what we wanted, what we hope the community hopes for the school.
Awesome. Okay, and then I'll speak to this and then I'll pause again if anyone has other thoughts they want to share. So one thing I've learned by being president of the board is that randomly in Robin's office shows up many boards, many books about how to run a school board. Who knew there was even 3 books? There's probably more. Sometimes this is from Adam, and these are from the book that Adam gave me. Did anyone give me, I don't even know where these came from. They're like, they appear. I don't know. Just, but I mean, they are actually helpful. And so I was flipping through them before this meeting and found those images in this one, which is like governing the small school. And I liked these a lot just in terms of like what, the board's role. And I think I've shared this before, but last year all the time I was like, what does the board do? While I was sitting in the board meeting. So I just tried to like pepper this in, one for my own education and two for us to stay aligned. This I really liked. So like part of our role is governance. And what does that mean? And I really liked the idea that like there's 3 parts of the triangle to it. There's strategic, generative, and fiduciary. I always have a hard time with that word. And I just thought it was a good layout of it, of like foresight, how will we accomplish our goals? Generative, where are we going and why, which is kind of like what are the goals? And then fiduciary, what is going on now that will impact our future? And I was chatting with Robin, and I was like, I just hope that when I'm far off the board, I like we've done a job in such a way that people could say, wow, they made good decisions. I see what they were doing there. Just to think about like what will someone else inherit. And then this I just think is always helpful too, just in regards to like what does the board do versus what are the operations of the school, and what's Robin's role. And I thought it was just a good visual, like a good image of, the board is like vision, threats, opportunities. It's we live in a world where I think threats instantly, at least to me, means something different, but really from like a business standpoint, like what are the threats that could affect a business? So and we've already been doing that. Like what's the change in interest rate? What would happen to these loans? Like what are threats to the school kind of in that regard? Strategy, fiduciary, and development. And then you kind of see that slash through it. And then you see the school operations and that's development, advancement, finance, buildings and grounds, legal, marketing, admissions, program curriculum, faculty, staff, and parents. And so anyways, that's just kind of the breakdown. I thought I liked the visual of all of it. We've talked about all this before, but yeah, any thoughts, questions, comments?
Yeah, I'd jump in real quick, Christine. So you said the word a minute ago, inherit, and I think that's a really important word that's kind of implicit in all of this. And part of our duty right now is to build something that's going to be left in future hands, right? At some point in the future, all of our seats are going to be held by different people, making decisions in all those subject matters with whatever facts are in front of them on those days. So our job right now is to build something that's sustainable, make the right decisions right now, but we really are building something that's going to be here for hopefully a very long time and continues to grow and continues to be a great community. So it's it's an important obligation, and it's neat to be a part of that for this window of time, right? But also to know that we're going to hand that off to others, and it's going to keep going, and that's an exciting journey to be a part of.
Yeah,
Christine, I was going to share
yeah, go
from
ahead.
our 2024 board governance a 3-ring binder that I still have. That was one of my favorite parts. I don't know if you can see
In
this.
2024, you got a 3-ring
2024.
binder?
I kept it. Yeah, I actually used this with my own board to kind of explain to them, what they needed to be involved in and what they needed to stay out of. But it's very much like what you have there, but it's specific to our board and for decisions, board administration, administrators' decisions, that kind of thing. And that might be a great graph to scan and send your way if you want it. So
Yeah.
to share with the rest of the board. So I knew that thing would come in handy.
Yeah, you're like, I'm keeping this for a reason.
Really, Christine, to add to what you said, and Ted, I feel like that applies to the operations side too. Like at some point we all retire or whatever, there's a leadership change, and I want to leave the school. I mean, I know Aaron and I are working hard to make sure systems are efficient, they're refined, they're like all, just trying to make sure at that some point in the future when we move on that, like, again, like you said, Christine, people, like, when they talk about, they're like, oh, like they didn't, we don't want them to say they dropped the ball on, whatever it is, right?
They might anyways, but let's do our darndest.
Well, inevitably you're going to make, not everything can be perfect, but the hope is that you're optimizing everything to the best of your ability.
Yeah, totally. It helps me have that mindset of like, how can we leave the place better than we found it?
Yes. Like the Girl Scouts, like,
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Okay, well then with that, Ted, would you be willing to share your story of why did you run for the board and maybe some things you've learned over all these years?
Yeah, you're really touching a whole bunch of it. There were two components. One, I guess, leading with the governance side. I have a lot of experience with board work and that. So being able to serve the community in that capacity and that real forward-looking, build something that's going to be great for the future and that other people will keep running with, it's just a wonderful thing to be a part of. So that's been a real, pleasure to be able to, to do this, 2.5 years in now. And then obviously there's the student side. So we had the opportunity to attend the middle school information session this past week, and Megan and I walked away with the same buzz that we had, 8 years ago, whatever it's been now, right? Looking at preschool the first time. It's just something special about this community, and you see the students when they're leading and walking everybody through the classroom. Here's what we do on a day-to-day basis, seeing the tools, just getting that feeling from the classrooms, the teachers, everyone, right? It's just such a great place to be. And MPA has been just a wonderful community for our family. And 8 years in, we're absolutely thrilled to have been a part of it and to continue to be a part of it. So, being able to be a part of the board and to just continue serving the community in that capacity has been just wonderful. So I think that's it in a nutshell. Spend time on the governance side. I think you covered the highlights. That was a real big why for me because I felt that I had a skill set to be able to help in that capacity. And then, again, well forward looking, keep building a great place for future kiddos to go through after ours, right?
That's awesome. Thanks.
Yep, thank you.
I wanted to attend a middle school information night. Now I'm like, oh man, I'm sad we missed it. The other day I was like, oh yeah, we're attending the one in December. And then I was like, oops, that was 2 days ago.
Yep.
That puts into context how December's felt for my brain. So you guys should do another one, Robin.
Aaron, we're going to do a little rest for a little bit but we'll see if we do. We'll definitely do more next year, and we'll see if we do. We gauge middle school information nights based on how enrollment is starting to look, if we need to do another one or,
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Cool. Okay, thanks. Well, and thanks, Ted, for all your service over 2.5 years, I suppose. So Okay, cool. All right, principal's report. Does that sound good?
That does sound good. Okay, so everyone got it in their email this week. Um, it's I feel like it's been a pretty just light month. I mean, not necessarily with events, because we've had all the PTA events and everything, but really things have just been running pretty smoothly. We started off the month with the assessment day, and if you recall, last year the assessment days were new. And so primary and lower elementary in particular had the staff are really appreciative of those days because it allows them to test students in such a way that it's best for the student, but it also alleviates stress load on staff. We also finished the middle of the year MAP and DIBELS testing. So this month is always a big middle of the year testing time frame. The first semester weekly school tours and the middle school information nights have been well attended. I thought we were done, but I was informed this week that I have one tomorrow. So, so tomorrow we will be done with the parent tours. Aaron and I have been doing them weekly. I think in years past they didn't start till October and they did them possibly every other week. And we've really decided to do a big push during leading up to round one enrollment and through round one enrollment. And so we'll also do, I'll talk about that enrollment, but we'll be doing one more when we return. We have also just recently had Miss Heather's Scholastic Book Fair. And as usual, it was a success. I think everyone really enjoys that event. It raised, at the time I talked to her, over $6,000 for the library fund. She didn't have the definite number because I think the online was open through the 14th, and I haven't had an update since then. As far as staff updating, we did have Miss Ann as a new assistant in Miss Amy's room. And for personal reasons, she has not been able to, she's had to take some time off. So Miss Bree has stepped in. She is somebody who subs in our building a lot. She's temporarily assumed the assistant role, and we'll see if she's willing to stay on full time because I think Miss Amy really loves having her there. We are preparing to post the job for the 26-27 instructional coach position. And actually, really, I probably shouldn't have worded that way. We are first seeking internal candidates only. So we had already reached out to staff and let them know that, up till this year, we've always had a coach that was just 3 days a week. And this school really needs a full-time coach, as all schools do. I used to do that job. I think it's a really important role. And we've had 3 internal candidates express interest. I'm not going to give their names or anything because we'll go through a process with that. But we're pretty excited about that because I think that'll also help Aaron and I because we've had to assume a lot of those roles this year and we've got a lot on our plate. So one thing I didn't put in the hard copy that you have is because I just finalized it today. I've been working with Dakota I've talked about the teacher pipeline before, and when I talk about the teacher pipeline problems, I'm mainly talking about upper elementary. I've talked to Compass Montessori that's in our district as well, and everybody says the same thing about upper elementary, just hard to find certified people or people that want to go through that entire training that level has to do. And I was expressing my desire for an out-of-box thinking because I feel like some of the Montessori training centers are very rigid, which is, I don't think, very effective. And we have been brainstorming, and she started talking about a residency program. So we've been collaborating on a residency program proposal, which I'll eventually run by the board. But we've also reached out to the other 2 Montessori schools in the district to get some input from them and also see if they want to partner with us. This would just be, I don't want to go into details, but it really would be a program that's much more accessible to teachers. It'll get us to the same place as far as training, but I think it will very definitely help with that pipeline. So pretty excited because today we finalized a draft to send to those other principals. And facility, not much going on. Aaron over winter break has some new mulch being delivered for the primary playground. I'm pretty excited about Luminous doing a new circuit panel for North on the 22nd because anybody who attended middle school information night knows how dark the front of the building is still to this day. We've been trying to mess with those lights for about 2 years now. So we're just, for this, we decided we needed to expend the money. It's a safety issue and they're going to be doing that. So hopefully it'll be fixed. And then we've been working with Pi Barker on adjusting some of our security alarm and fire alarm sensors because Aaron Dickens and I have been getting a lot of calls on the weekend and thing, and not that anything's wrong, but like, I don't know. It's not like a serious situation, but it's more that system tests aren't running like they should. So they've just been helping us tweak. We think some of the sensors are just a little bit old, so we're replacing some of them. Enrollment, no definite numbers right now. That 411 we've got for this year is probably going to be what it is. I don't think they ever really finalized that enrollment number. Going into 26, 27, we don't have any numbers right now. The round one enrollment ends January 9th. We're watching it in our enrollment dashboard, but it's looking good. We've completed, I think I'm correct with this. This is a minimum of 5 presentations and tours Aaron and I have. And then we've had our 3 middle school information nights. All have been attended well, with always the last one being the fullest. I also know of a number of middle school kids that are just not even bothering to go to the information night, that they're just showing up to middle school, I guess, next year. So the Jeffco enrollment date's just good for you to know in case you're talking to community members. It's, if they don't do anything in the system and they're existing students, they will just roll to MPA for the next year. But it's always good to have people do that because it gives us a better count of what's actually going to happen. But round one enrollment will end January 9th. And then the other rounds open up. We don't do as many tours during the other rounds because really our big push is round one, and then much fewer numbers coming in for round 2 and 3. And let's see, I would say we probably will have a preliminary number after round 1 finishes. That'll give us a good idea initially of who's showed intent to enroll. And then community events, we thanks to Jen Webb and Lisa Mitchell and our new social committee, we had a great staff holiday gathering this weekend at an offsite location, and we had games, and it was a lot of fun. So thank you, Jen. And I don't know if you know, Jen Webb and Lisa Mitchell were PTA moms together. You could tell when they were running this party. So it was fun. I think Justin, were you at the ukulele concert? Yeah, I saw you. I talked to you.
Yes.
Yeah. So
It was great.
Mr. Tyler's amazing. Monday was the choir and ukulele concert, and I saw it in the morning and I saw it at night, and I just think it was a wonderful thing. The gym was packed. Someday it'll be nice to move it over to North to have more seating when our lighting gets fixed over there. I don't know. I thought it was such a special concert. I sent a picture to the executive director of charter schools because I feel like they always deal with a lot, like the Jeffco layoffs right now. And I thought, I just want to let you know there's great things that Jeffco staff are doing and Jeffco students. January 5th will be a staff work day. We've got a half-day PD planned and then work time, and then students don't return until January 6th. And that's about it for the principal report. Any questions?
Thank you. Okay, I reworked this agenda a lot, and then sometimes when I look at the final product with you all, I'm like, why did I do that way? For some reason, I called finance out separately, not with the committees, but maybe because there's always so much to talk about with it. So if you guys are okay, we can move into finance now, and then we could skip it when we get to the committees.
So I'll go ahead and start, but then I'll have the committee and Justin to chime in whenever they want to. Hold on just a second. Let me pull something up. I'm going to present a slideshow. If I can. Oh my word, let me make sure I can pull it up. Hold on. Application windows. Just a second. Hold on just a second. I'm almost there. All right. All right, can you see my slide? Can you see the finance slideshow?
Yeah, but you see your whole screen.
You see the whole screen.
Like we see the beach.
Okay, yeah, you don't want to see the beach. Well,
I do want to see the beach.
We all want to see the beach. Okay, fine, whatever. We won't show the beach. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. So I just did, we always meet prior to this meeting. That's why we're always a couple minutes late, actually, because we have good conversation. But we thought a slideshow would really help with just communicating what we're doing. PNC bank updates. There's really nothing new, nothing bad. It's all good. The last communication we had from PNC was November 20th from Chris Hearn. That's the PNC person that we've been dealing with. We have internal PNC approval for amendment of the covenants. The PNC legal team is drafting proposed changes. They will connect with Zions, which is the in-between bank, and just to make sure all the documentation is correct, and then they'll be following up with us. So what we're anticipating is we will be in compliance because they're changing that day's cash on hand. That's what he's proposed to them. So really nothing new there. Anybody, any questions or any finance committee members that want to chime in? Okay. This is, I just put this in the chat of the document. Don't look at it yet, but I want to remind everybody that, Matt DeAngelis from DA Davison presented at our November board meeting. And, as you know, we're preparing for the refinancing of our bank bonds, which they're maturing in 2027. And one of the strategies Matt discussed when he presented to us was to improve credit and give MPA the best chance possible to get the lowest interest rate in the market. We need to keep working on building up our days cash on hand. This is something we've talked about a lot. We expect to continue spending to improve or fund deferred maintenance to the facility in the coming years. That's not saying we're doing extreme things. That just means with any facility, you're going to have some expenditures you have to make when things break. So we know we'll have those expenditures. And so one of the strategies that Matt suggested was implementing a reimbursement resolution to enable MPA to reimburse itself for with tax exempt proceeds at the closing. So basically, if we vote this in, we will be able to, if we decide, let's say I don't know what we would repair in the facility, because right now we're not planning anything, but something we would be able to reimburse ourselves and keep, if we wanted, and keep our cash on hand the number we want it to and keep increasing it. Before you look at that, Justin, I'm giving you credit for this, Justin, because in the finance meeting, Justin came up with this paragraph, I think, because we were still, Matt presented a month ago, and it's just good to know what a reimbursement resolution is. So take a second and read this paragraph. I think that last sentence in particular is really resonates with me. Adopting the resolution protects the school's financial flexibility at no cost and keeps financing options open, while all material decisions about whether to borrow, how much, and on what terms would come back to the board for separate approval. So this document we're going to have you look at, it's not an obligation on any terms. It really is just providing some flexibility in preparation for our refinancing. And Ted, you probably have a lot of background with this, I'm assuming, correct?
Yeah, I think one of the big takeaways there was that as expenses are incurred, you can basically treat them as rolled into the loan money, right? And get paid out. So it becomes definitely not cash neutral, but you don't take a huge cash impact. And that would otherwise be a taxable event. All this resolution does is it's a placeholder that allows us to make that tax efficient move in the future. It does not change any options on the table or anything like that. So it's very little downside, no downside.
Yeah.
With lots of upside preservation.
Right. So if in the chat, if everybody wants to pull up that resolution, it should be in there, and you should be able to, and let me know if you can't access it, because you should be able to. It's short. Don't be scared. Legal jargon, but it's short. Because what Jen and I really think we need to do is go ahead, what we would like is to go ahead and vote to approve. However, obviously this is our own deadline. We certainly can discuss more and vote at a different meeting.
Just remember that this was drawn up by our attorney and Matt has reviewed it and finance committee has discussed it. And I'd appreciate an approval tonight because it kind of timestamps the decision. And so if something were to happen, after this board meeting, we're covered rather than wait till after break in January. And
Yeah, okay, that's it. We'll cover CapEx from the tax efficient perspective, but also I think that's item number 2. We should also talk about that. In the event that, let's say, there's a 100-day cash reserve requirement or some bigger cash reserve requirement, we'd be able to borrow that amount to fund the cash reserves.
Yeah.
And again, that would be able to do that on a tax efficient basis. Still have to pay interest on it, but be able to do it tax efficient rather than having to go through some other maneuvers and then kind of double pay to fund those reserve requirements.
And we
That
also,
again being the issue that we fell short on that triggered this whole situation in the first place. So I think that's an important lever to have.
we also had, after Bill drew this up, like Bill connected with Matt for us, and then we had Matt review it after as well. And Jen and I met with him about a week after we got this, just to kind of confirm. We wanted him to review the strategy with us so we understood better how you're supposed to leverage this strategy.
Just to ask the question, is there any, like, what would a potential downside of us like signing or approving this be?
I mean, Ted, correct me if I'm wrong.
Christine,
Yeah, go ahead, Justin.
I was just gonna say that was my initial question. I always go in assuming that whatever I sign is gonna have me on the hook for the rest of my life for something I didn't want to
Well, one
buy.
of these books said
So-
that if everyone agrees, we have to go home and talk about it next time. So
Yeah, I read through it. It's a little bit legal jargony, and when Matt was kind of going through, it was hitting me a little fast. I know Ted, you live in this world, but not I. So I did. I kind of read through it. I put I ran it through a chat GPT, just like break this down for an idiot, for like 5th grade reader like myself. And this paragraph came back, and the more it helped me understand that we're not incurring anything. We're setting up protections, guardrails, and essentially guidelines for moving forward. So as Jen alludes to, God forbid, our roof is being blown off right now. We have this in place to move forward with the financing we would need to gain instead of trying to pull that out of pocket. So,
and the downside would be if we used it frivolously and said, "Oh, PTA, we got you. Let's put it in the playground." When
Let's buy
that
a
wasn't the
playground.
plan.
Probably not the best. Yeah, this is more.
And again, that wouldn't be something
emergency
that
fund,
would happen
yeah.
without another board vote. So it really is an insurance. And I'll tell you what, our attorney came back with this in like a day. Like, this must be so common. So
Cool.
that's my 2 cents.
I think that's a good
would-
that's a good downside. That was a good call out.
But I do-
My question would be, how much is the current loan with the interest that needs to be paid off? Like, is the 7 million, does that cover the current payoff value as of the 2027 payoff date? And what kind of buffer does that give us?
Jen, I'll let you take that one. Oh, you're muted.
Just like, I know, I was trying to calculate it in my head.
No, I have it on the bottom of my
Yeah, I figured you.
report. So currently we're at like 5.6. And this gives us about, by the time we are continuing to make payments, we'll have about a $2 million buffer.
Okay.
Good. It
Mhm.
sounds straightforward to me.
So is this something that the board would prefer to, I agree with Jen, like it would be nice to have this in place now, just in case something happens. But if the board needs more time to think about this, it's kind of your call on that one.
Could you walk me through, just because like by this time of day my brain's like, what? Okay, so if something would happen tomorrow and we need a new roof and we've signed this, where does that money come from then?
You know what? Right now, we would pay out of our cash. The way Matt described it to us is we don't even need to even leverage this strategy at the time of closing. even, he said that we would look through and see, oh, do we need to do that then? Jen, I want to make sure I'm stating that
Yes,
correctly. That was my
exactly.
understanding. It's not like right now, if the roof blows off, we're fixing it. We're just going to use our cash or whatever. But we could either,
But if we have this resolution in place, then we could, if needed, reimburse
ourselves back
ourselves
in
to
the-
bring up the cash on hand.
Okay.
So we had originally discussed like all that 100 grand in the landscaping from North. That has fallen outside of the usage window. So we couldn't go back with that. So that's how I'm like, let's get it in place now. So now moving forward,
Right. Okay.
covered.
That's helpful. Yeah. That's
And Christine, it really is. It just gives us the ability for that reimbursement. We're not committing to anything. It doesn't approve any debt. It doesn't approve the ability to spend money. The board would still have to activate this. It's just that we have the guideline in place.
And Matt discussed with us that when we came to him with something we thought we might use this for, that he would look at it, analyze it, cash on hand versus interest rate versus paying it back. So I don't know why this couldn't have been in the first one, but maybe it's because it's not the first one wasn't a refi, because this would have exactly fixed our problem with the new roof.
Yep. Right. Okay. That's helpful. So, board, what do you all think? Does it seem to make sense to you? And, would you be ready to do a vote tonight, or is this something you'd rather revisit in January?
I'm okay to vote.
I'd move for the vote. We've discussed this now. We have the expert presentation. We've had council drop a resolution in consultation with our expert. I'm good.
So am I.
Yes.
So someone needs to make a motion and second. And as a reminder, I can't do it.
Yeah, I'm
And-
happy to motion that we adopt the resolution. What is the official title? Robin?
The reimbursement resolution.
Reimbursement. So I would motion that we adopt the reimbursement resolution.
It's actually called the Montessori Peaks Academy resolution on the top of the paper, if that helps.
I do. Sorry, I know,
That-
Justin. I'm just going to state this just for the people, if there's anyone who is not saying anything, but like I always feel like voting's a little bit odd on a board. If you don't want to vote yet, feel free to speak up. Like if you think you want more time to think through it, or if you're just not in agreement, like you don't have to vote yes. I know you all know that, but it kind of seems like there could be a tone. So I want everyone to feel like there's an opportunity to, speak up. So, okay,
Christine, you
thank
can, the formal pattern for that too is you could just say motion second. Is there any more discussion? And then if we do need to pause the vote because there is more concern or question brought up that we can't answer tonight, we can hold it even after the motion. So
Cool. Okay. So, okay, we have one motion to vote. Go ahead, Elizabeth. Maybe.
I'll second it. The motion.
And Christine, then if you want to call for any further comment on it, discussion,
Okay,
this is a
so
good place for somebody to go, I object.
any further comment or discussion?
Grant, I'd take it to a vote.
All right, Daisy.
All right, thank you all. Christine,
Yes.
Daisy, I pass. Deciding on the appropriate language. That's okay. We're gonna go with that. Elizabeth,
Yes.
there we go. Yes works too. Excuse me, I'm having issues with the computer because of course you do. Frank,
Yes.
thank you. Justin,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Ted,
Yes.
and Tom.
Yes.
All right, motion has passed as proposed. Thank you guys. It's beautiful.
Always feels like a win whenever anything passes.
This was a good thing to have in place. I think this is getting us towards the goals we're trying to meet.
All right,
definitive.
Robin, you have your votes. Stop selling it.
Yeah, no, that's it. We're not talking anymore. Okay. Student fees was on the agenda, but really we're just giving a very brief update because there's nothing, we want to vote on them in January. We actually have been spending some time just gathering input from teams as we do every year to make sure items are either deleted or added as needed into those student fees. Possible additional percentage increase across all levels. But again, Jen and I are still working on that. So that's really just in progress to let you know, and just giving you a heads up. Then in January, we'll have something ready to present, which is about the time that we start, voting on all the things for the following year. It's almost crazy that we have to think about it this early, but we do. So the monthly budget update, our 24-25 audit is complete by Jeffco and approved. So we're all good with that. That audit has been finalized. And I'm going to let Jen take over for the budget versus actuals. So Jen, I'm going to stop sharing so that you can share.
I can share. On what you just said about we're preparing in January for next school year when we don't know what our numbers look like, what we don't know what PPR looks like, when we don't know, what water heater is going to bust. That's why school budgets are able to move money around. And that's what also we'll be doing in January. I don't know if I'll have it ready for the January board meeting, just with break and stuff, but we're going to look at revising our current budget to match what's actually happened in the last 8 months since we've put it together last April or last January, actually. All right, so I'm going to share this. Did everybody get a chance to look at it besides my finance committee?
Looked at it.
Looked at it. Is it sharing? Where did it go?
I see it.
We got it.
But I can't see it.
I
That
know,
doesn't
I
help
was
me. Robin had the same problem a minute ago. What's going on?
You have this
You're
all
not off
memorized,
book
don't
yet,
you?
Jen? Right.
What?
You have it all memorized?
No, I can't see it.
You're not off book yet, Jen? Come on.
Stop it. Okay. Do you guys see me? Like my little guy's on Jeffco Public Schools, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, now my budget's back, but you guys are all gone. But as long as I know you can see it, that's fine. So this is as of that. That's also another thing is we're meeting mid-December. This is numbers from the end of 11/11/1/1/1/30. So next board meeting, we'll be looking at the numbers for December and then thinking forward for the rest of the year. But anyways, so we're about 42% of the budget. And we know that this is based on 421. I have not made any changes. These are our original budget numbers. So the focus is on what the current year, where we're at current year. So we're high on resale. We're kind of little low, little high, little low, little high, but ending at 49. That's all our revenues. So some of it's in transfers that take a little bit, like they don't do it necessarily every month. This is why I'm a little bit high, but you'll see a dip in January because of the holiday. I won't even have a transfer till probably February. So things just fluctuate. So I just look at these revenues as a whole. We're doing fine. Next is employee benefits and salaries, and not to sound like a broken record, this is truly our largest, $4 million, $5 million of our budget, and we're trending perfect. So I'd love to see that. So some of these items here are front loaded. We definitely would be making some budget adjustments. This contracted services, I've said before, is offset by the $70,000 just in one line item. We had to pay for something that I thought was going to be building improvements, but the district said, no, you got to run it through contractor services. So that $70,000 wasn't spent. I'm immediately dumping it into the contracted services. Employee training and conference is 3,000. We're high, but we do a lot of PD at the beginning of the year where we're paying for people to come out and do development for the staff. So that's why that's high. Our printing's a little high, or no, contracted services, like I said, it's high. And what's this one? Bank fees. I mean, it's high, but it's $2,000 over budget. I can't control what the banks and the fees are, so we'll just make an adjustment. We base these numbers, our budget, off of last year's expenditures. So, I don't know, maybe there was additional fees, that Zion's Bank, of course, they can't just send the money through. There's always fees attached to them being our middleman. This minus 32% is because when we have a lease with the copier company and we refinanced it, and basically the new place paid out our old lease. And so that's why I have a negative, because I'm currently paying on 2 leases, but one has been offset with the check. This ends at 56% overall, and that's a little high, but again, I bought a lot of things front loaded, a lot of work that's done in the summer in that contracted services. Contingency still stands at 75,000. That's also money we could reduce if needed. At this time, I don't think we need to. When I present in January, I'll show you what it looks like with it, without it, and with increasing it or decreasing it. This also is a little high. I've purchased all my computers and hopefully all my computers and a lot of my instructional materials. And so again, front loaded. This right here, this line 91, there was an error I made, and I charged the student computers to the staff computers. And when I switched it, it made this big deficit. So I've spent less than the 15. I don't understand how I need to correct that. I'm going to have to reach out to the district on that. But otherwise, I am total expenditures 46%. I'm comfortable with that. Does anybody have any questions? And again, the finance committee just went over this before this meeting.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone good on that? Cool. Thanks, Jen.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Okay, so then let's see. On to the calendar. For some reason I put that there. Ted and Daisy have had some weather issues, and I almost feel validated because some people are having some weather issues today. So Ted, is your internet stable right now? Do you want to run through the
Stable right
calendar?
now, yeah, it was like literally what as Justin said, the roof blowing off or something like that.
My
Wi-Fi-
winds picked up here too.
Boom, yeah, it was
Sorry.
amazing timing. So just don't say that again while I'm talking.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Stop putting that into the universe.
Ticking through calendar items. So for December, first one is file annual report for the school with the state.
Done.
Done. Excellent. We have start the administrator evaluation process in both December and January. I think that's really more of a January item. It's going to come up again. Talk about that more later. I know last time we talked about grievance committee membership. I will continue to serve on that through June. Was anybody else going to volunteer for the next 1-year term for 2026?
Did I get voluntold on that one? Was that how my name ended up on the newsletter there?
No.
It's
that
fine. It's totally, that cracked me up. I started laughing.
That
when you
was
brought
not meant
mine.
to be grievance. It was just meant to be like a contact. So I thought as the secretary, you could be the contact. But we could put grievance on there instead.
Oh, it's totally fine. Whatever works. It's easy enough.
Do you want to be on the grievance committee?
Sure, throw me on.
Okay, thanks.
I'm amenable to be grieved at.
Excellent. All right. Well, it tends to be light duty, so that's good. We just defer everything to Robin, so it's really not that bad. Sorry, Robin.
No, I would get the full story. Please help me understand what's going on.
All right. Quick date for strategic planning session. I know we've got that set as an agenda item, so we'll discuss that shortly. Then file annual report for the building foundation with the state. Have we done the building foundation?
Yeah,
piece?
that's the latest one I forwarded you.
Excellent. And then financial audit to the board and post to website. I think that was still in progress, right? Or is that?
It's done. I've already asked her to post it to the.
It could be there. I don't know if any of us have checked. I
Okay.
don't-
But that's done and done. Okay, excellent. So that's December. Moving ahead to January, just so we don't miss anything timing wise. Begin budget review, which we'll talk about. Begin the administrator evaluation process. Strategic plan review process. Principal report on goal progress, all of which will kind of tie into the strategic plan meeting. And then board election planning and discuss who's going to be SAC chair.
When does SAC is that the calendar year, not the school year?
Hey, it should be the school year.
Okay.
I don't know why
I
that's.
could just be thinking ahead for year-end planning, like if it's tied to election timing, start thinking about planning for the next school year cycle. So that's probably what it's for.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. So then Robin and I were looking at a strategic session. Now that I look at the dates, one is over break and I can't do anymore, which is January 2nd. So no one wants to do that day anyways. So okay, the last year, and I'm assuming in previous years, you guys have done like once a year kind of a strategic session. We did ours last year in January or February. And I found it to be super helpful. It was when we were really able to look at more of a deep dive of the budget. So, right now we get the monthly snapshot, but it was really helpful to get the deep dive of the budget. Last year, what we talked about, and it would, I assume, would be a little bit different this year, but just to give you all an idea, Robin came with a nice grid of all of the different capital expenses that were coming up so that we could wrap our minds around like one, where's the school at financially right now? It was where I think some of us, at least for the first time, wrapped our minds around the loan and what are some of the expenses that the school has coming up. So it allowed us to have that bigger, longer term vision and then think through just the strategic plan a little bit more. So I found it to be really helpful. I think what we did was like a 4 to 6:30-ish timeline, and then we left and all went to like a brewery for dinner and just like social time. And like what's kind of nice about that is like once the board meeting closes, it would literally just have to be social time because we couldn't talk about board topics. So we just got to know each other a little bit more, which was fun. That part could be optional for you to join or not join, but I found the strategic session to be really helpful. So we want to do that again in the new year. And so let's see what dates. January 2nd's out. And then, well, and so then partly because of my schedule, it would be February. So February 6th and February 13th were our two options, I guess I threw out there. Do those dates work for you all? Anyone not work for?
I'm
Can you
good.
throw those out? February what again?
February 6th and February 13th. It wouldn't be both of them, it'd just be one.
I'm good either way.
So am I.
Both
February
are good
13th
for me.
is a no school day. Does that affect you, Robin?
Oh, yeah, if it's a no school day, I guess I'd rather not do it that day. I'd rather do the 6th then. Thanks. I should have
It's,
looked that
it's
up.
President's Day weekend, and I might actually be out of town too.
Yes. Yeah, we probably want to stick with the 6th then if that works for everyone.
Come on, people, aren't you planning for President's Day 2026?
My favorite holiday.
Everybody's favorite holiday after Valentine's Day. I don't.
There's a lot, like I think
Before.
I was listening to something today where it was saying that like Mardi Gras is right around then,
Yeah.
and then Valentine's Day, so it'll be like a heavy traveled weekend, I guess. But
good catch. Yeah.
I didn't think about that when I put the dates out there. Really, I just checked to see if my husband's working or not because he works 24-hour shifts. So that's how I plan my life. Frank understands.
I'm good with the 6th. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So Daisy, would you mind setting out a hold for that from like just 4 to 8 for now? If it doesn't work for anyone or you want to reach out to me directly, let me know and we could always go back to the drawing board. Cool. Okay. Okay. Committee reports. I'm going to say we've done finance. Does that sound good? And we've done PTA. So Justin, do you want to go with marketing?
Yeah, we already kind of talked a little bit about the homeschooling piece. So that social media component is coming, and once we figure out how to deal with the bank and Facebook charges, because they've never heard of Mark Zuckerberg, clearly. As for the more general piece, we launched a bumper sticker campaign. Those came in. Jen's missing. I think, Robin, have you seen them? They should have arrived Tuesday
I
or
haven't
yesterday.
seen them yet, but then I've been really busy. So if Jen comes back, we should ask her. Maybe they just
Yeah.
haven't pulled them out
I just
yet.
want to make sure they weren't printed backwards or upside
Yeah,
down, or
I have to
whatever.
actually see
So,
the hard copy.
yeah,
So.
so the hard copies are sitting in the office, and we just wanted to wait till after the holidays before we start handing them out, maybe as a welcome back, welcome to the new year, car line kind of thing. We've got more than enough for, I think, all the families, and plus one if we need to. So I think most of you saw that bumper sticker design in an earlier meeting. If not, let me know. I'll email it out to you. So, there were some long-term items, Robin, on our agenda, and I'm trying to remember what they were. I did not take. I'm not even sure you were at the last meeting. We've kind of been
You and I
this one,
switched up, I think. I was at missed one and then you missed one. So
right?
like,
Right. The survey. We've gotten some of the survey responses back. It's been kind of light. I think there were like less than 20 right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
have it on the billboard or the marquee right now to see if we can up that number some because Adam Livingston designed it and it'll feed, the 5-star ratings will feed into great schools, right, Justin? But also it'll give us input onto people that are interested in volunteering or wanting to get involved. So it kind of is a twofold survey, right?
We talked about a single topic email too, where we just do the survey to families and kind of a, hey, if you missed it in the news, because the newsletter is a lot of topics, but maybe make it a single topic. Hey, if you haven't filled out the survey, we'd love to get your feedback. And by the way, that survey also feeds into, and if you love us and give us 5 stars, head on over to these sites and do a survey on us or do a review on us. So
I have not done it, but I don't know if you guys have received one because I don't know if Lisa Mitchell was working on that because I have not seen one.
We can follow that up with Lisa. That's easy. So that's kind of where we're at. There was a long-term item that is completely, and I can't find it in my notes, but we were talking more down the road, long-term marketing for the school, outreach, and just general awareness too. The homeschool is obviously the focus at the moment, and then the general piece is the bumper stickers, but more ways to just kind of, involve the community, get them, promoting and word of mouthing our school as much as possible. So I think that's it at the moment.
Yeah, I'm looking at our agenda, Justin. I don't see anything else beyond, just bumping up those great schools, those reviews.
Reviews, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I do have to say, like, we definitely had, like, I don't know, Lisa posted some video on Facebook and she had like 200 hits in like 3 minutes. It was pretty quick.
Yeah, that is something to note. The social media is kind of alive again because Lisa's updating it. So if you're not following us, definitely, put it into your groups on Facebook or what have you. We're on Instagram as well, and thumb those things up because the more we it's the whole point of social media, that network, the more we like and subscribe, the more people will see it, and hopefully it gets our kind of word of mouth grassroots marketing out there. So that's all I had, unless Robin, you had more.
I even noticed the Colorado League of Charter Schools have been given, I have been looking at the Facebook, they'll respond. I think they try to support their charter schools and we're a member of that. So that'll help as well.
And looking at grade schools, we have 4 new reviews on there since the survey's gone out.
Good.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks, Sarah. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And I think before that, I think they were old surveys from a while back. I don't know if we'd had a brand new one in a while. I'm not positive. So that's good. I mean,
great.
Thanks,
I know this is like not really super related, except Justin, that you had mentioned it. Do you want to share a little bit about the AI article you sent me?
Thanks for the reminder, Christine. Totally off topic. And I'm just shoehorning this in, but there's a great article I read just a couple days ago about school policies on the teachers' use of AI and how they're using it in some cases to kind of, we would call it an aviation pencil whip the students' work. And in other cases, use it as a kind of stepping stone to review students' work. And then if it's flagged, sit down with the student, find out if there was abuse, use of AI, that kind of thing for the project. And the thing that caught me about the article, because some schools in Broward County, it was saying they're spending over $500,000 on this teacher assist kind of AI to look at students' work and determine if it's been AI generated. But what it came down to, and I thought was really good, is a lot of schools are missing the one step of creating policies and guidelines on how the school uses that AI and then what the steps are. So that it's not just we ran it through the computer and it says you're a fraud, but more so ran it through the computer. This is coming back with some red flags. We visit with the student, that kind of thing. So I just wondered if we had a policy in place, or if we, maybe get ahead of this, and Robin, definitely your team kind of thing with the staff, but it might be something we want to, explore as a longer term goal and make sure we have in place
Yeah, I mean,
when the question comes up.
that's definitely operations, but I'd say our middle
Yeah.
school team already has a procedure they're following. I'd have to follow up on the details, but they've already flagged some kids that were doing that. I just can't remember exactly the procedure they're following. They're pretty tech savvy. So basically,
Right.
it's not really going to apply to the rest of our school because our kids, it'll just be middle school that
Sure.
currently
I'm
does.
just all I'm thinking is, as I read that article, I kept thinking we're going to hear more parents that are exploring our school asking about that kind of policy and what we have in place, and who knows, I think what they'll be looking for is going to be a range of responses. But I think it's great if we have a policy on that, and this is how we
And actually,
proceed on it.
what they're more interested in when they tour our school is the extent of technology use, not the use of AI,
Yeah.
and not checking their kids' work for plagiarism. They're actually
Sure.
most interested in that there's a balance of technology versus non-technology. So far,
Right.
no questions about AI. But yeah, middle school teachers and our teachers are pretty up to speed on all that.
Okay. Great.
I think it's a great call out though, like the AI policies or procedures, if we like that word better, for anywhere that we're working at or working with, it will become more and more important. So it's good to have have it on our radar.
Well, and I think Jeffco, will comply with Jeffco's policies on AI. That's one of those things,
Yeah. Cool. Okay. SAC, any SAC updates?
Are you gonna do that one?
Yeah, sorry, I have to unmute
That's
two
okay.
different things to be able to talk, so I missed the first time. Sorry. Yeah, so the next SAC meeting is in January, correct? So as of December, no updates.
Remember, we only meet quarterly pretty much, and so January will be the big middle of the year assessment data presentation. So Tom, I think, because I think in November we already presented all the things we had talked about. Yeah, so we haven't had a meeting since then, so there's no update.
Cool. Okay, grievance.
There are no formal grievances this month.
Okay. And then community comments. I remember to put that in this time. Any community comments?
I didn't get any emails. So
Thanks, Stacy.
bus ran me over. Oh no, it was hilarious. It was awesome. I was honored to be placed there.
Thanks. Cool. Okay. Anything else? Any group I'm missing?
Not that you put in the agenda.
Okay. Doesn't mean I didn't miss it. Okay, board goals and ownership. This is something that I think we'll talk more about we could do more work with at our strategic time in February. So I'll just skip that for now unless anyone had anything they wanted to share with that. All right. Let's approve the November meeting minutes.
And I will say one update was sent by the fabulous Elizabeth for keeping me update and accountable. Thank you. The update was to say they are storage rooms, not storage cabinets, and I believe that was on the top of page 5. All right. Well then. Let me just stop the conversation dead in its tracks. All right. Well, then in that case, I will propose to approve the November meeting minutes with the amended update to storage rooms, not storage cabinets.
I'll second.
Thank you. All right. Oh, stop it. Sorry. Happy tabbing. All right. With a second, we will go ahead and proceed with vote. Christine?
Yes.
I will also vote yes. Elizabeth?
Yes.
Frank?
Yes.
Thank you. Justin?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Sarah?
Yes.
Thank you. Ted?
Yes.
And Tom?
Yes.
All right, motion has passed. The minutes are approved as amended.
Yay. Okay. Well, that's all I have. Does anyone have anything else? Cool. The next meeting I'll be out of town for, so I won't be present at, which means hopefully Ted, you could run that meeting if you're here for it. In January 19th? Is that the day? No. 20th?
21st is the third Wednesday.
Okay, January 21st. So that's our next board meeting for everyone. And as always, I like to say thank you. I debated briefly this morning about canceling because, you know, who's not ready for break. But then I rallied in my brain for all the reasons that we've talked about why this matters and why our meetings matter. So again, thank you to you all for showing up and everyone, showing up here, leading right into Christmas break. It'd be so easy to say I'm just going to opt out tonight, the wind. And you'd have every excuse to because we didn't have school or whatnot. And so thank you all for showing up because your presence and your time here and your input really does matter. So thank you very much. Hope you all have a wonderful holiday and break and great work, Robin and Jen and Elizabeth, to the staff too. And hope, if you talk to them, pass the board's gratitude on to all of the staff as well, and that they can just take like an awesome, respite as well.
Thank you.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Everyone, have a great break. See you. Bye.
Bye.
Guys.